Thank you, everyone. We're going to get started. Thanks for joining us today for our webinar titled Discover the Benefits of the Top All-in-One Teller Capture System. In the event that you're unfamiliar with this new product, the All-in-One Teller Capture products combine a check scanner and a receipt printer all into one space-saving platform. Today we will have UniLink sales consultant Lou Fuchs point out a few benefits of teller capture. Then we will pass the presentation to Epson, Panini, Burroughs, Digital Check, and Canon to present their new products. Finally, we will end with Q&A, and we will have a gift card giveaway for a lucky attendee who stays with us until the end of the presentation. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type them into your chat box, and we will answer a few at the end, and the remaining we will forward accordingly. So now I'm going to pass the presentation off to Lou.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending the webinar on front counter teller capture. We could spend an hour just talking about the benefits of front counter capture. What we're going to do here real briefly is review some of the highlights. And then I wanted to let you know that we have many white papers available in a PDF format. And if you email us through the chat box that you would like the white papers, we will forward those white papers over to you after the webinar. But some of the major benefits of why teller capture are balancing and reconciliation at the point of origin, which streamlines your operation and reduces your operational costs, immediate verification and fraud prevention, issues are resolved before the customer leaves the building, reduced float, and a small footprint with the printer and scanner in an all-in-one unit with exceptional print quality. Again, for additional information, chat us through the email process here on the webinar, and we will forward the white papers to you after the webinar is over. Thanks. Renee? Oh, I'm sorry. UniLink, just a little bit about UniLink. UniLink is currently doing business with over 1,200 financial institutions in all 50 states. All of the solutions that you're going to see here today we do provide to our customers. Most of the solutions that you will see here today we've already provided in conjunction with the software companies and the hardware manufacturers to many customers around the country. All of those customers are referenceable. As a follow-up, if you'd like to speak with some of the other customers that are using front counter capture, just let us know and we'll hook you up with them. We wanted to let you know that we take an unbiased approach to configure, figure out, determine in conjunction with you what is the best product based upon your business requirements. And as part of our solution, we will get evaluation equipment out to you for you to evaluate. It is very normal for us to send several platforms from different manufacturers out to you as part of the process.
Thank you, Lou. First up, I'd like to introduce all of you to Linda Fitzpatrick, who is the Financial Partner Manager at Epson. Linda?
Hi, Renee.
Yes, take it away.
All right, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to open up by thanking Lou and Renee and UniLink for sponsoring this webinar, and I look forward to sharing some exciting information with all the attendees about Epson's teller capture solutions. We are delighted to be able to participate in this webinar. I understand that we have a very short period of time to share a lot of great information with you all. So I have put together an abbreviated overview, which I hope you will find very beneficial. So Renee, if you could go to the next slide. I just wanted to start off by kind of giving you a visual of some of the products that Epson provides to the financial marketplace. I know that the primary focus of this webinar is to talk about teller capture and image capturing solutions, but I just wanted to share with you all that Epson not only provides imaging solutions, but we provide print solutions, and our solutions can be found in over 85% of all the financial institutions in the marketplace. And this is just a small sample of some of the products that that Epson provides out to the marketplace. Renee? The next two slides the slide that you see as far as Epson's strength and financial. This just gives you a visual of some of the customers that are benefiting from the financial solutions that Epson provides to the marketplace. Next slide. All right, so let's get to the products that we want to talk about today. Epson has 3 imaging solutions that I'm going to share with you today. One is called our Capture One. The second product is called our TMS 9000, and the third product is called our TMS 2000. Renee? So the first product is our Capture One solution. And I just have one slide about this product to share with you. This product is typically used in the the RDC world, the remote deposit capture world, but it also can be used in the teller capture world if it's complemented with one of our printers, either our T88 or our T70 printer. This particular product only comes in scanning speeds of 30, 60, and 90 documents per minute. It also has an electronic endorsement. It does not have a sprayed endorsement, and we do frank the front of the check. So if this is a solution that you may be looking for, not in particular our combined all-in-one, which I'm going to show you, I just wanted to let you all know that this is an option out in the marketplace. Next slide. So the two more products that I wanted to review with you from a teller capture standpoint, which are much more feature-rich and exciting teller capture solutions that Epson has brought to the marketplace, is our TMS 9000, which you see, and the next slide is our TMS 2000. All right. So I'm going to talk to you about the TMS 9000. There are many advantages associated with utilizing the TMS 9000. As you can see, we had several different products that were out on the PowerPoint before Renee combined all of the products together. And we reference our product as far as the power of one. And the advent of creating the S9000 was to be able to take all of those multiple products that you saw that you typically have at the teller counter and combine them into one strong, powerful, feature-rich product. And Epson has designed the TMS 9000 to do just that. So let's talk about the advantages associated with the TMS 9000 and the features. The next slide. Whoop, wrong way. There we go. Whoop. There you go. All right. The TMS 9000. So get ready because there's a list of features that you will be able to take advantage of on the TMS 9000. So first, let's start with a quick overview of the features of it. First of all, the TMS 9000 has our T88 5 thermal receipt printer built into the unit, which prints only at the speed of about 12 inches per second. It also has scanning speeds of 110 and 200 documents per minute. It also provides a driver's license read at the teller line, front and back, and in color. It also provides mag stripe read of tracks 1, 2, and 3 on a debit card or credit card. It also provides cashier check printing. And it also provides an inkjet printing capability with a 2-inch high print area, which would provide you with the opportunity with at least 16 lines of being able to print a combination of graphic and or text messages on a receipt. So again, on an overview, you've got scanning speeds of 210 and 100 documents per minute. You have driver's license read front and back and in color. You have mag stripe read of tracks 1, 2, and 3. Cashier check printing, and a 2-inch high print area, and lastly, Epson's T88 5 thermal receipt printer. It has a USB hub on it. It comes with a standard one pocket, but a second pocket output is also optional, and an optional is a second port for a USB hub. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the advantages of the TMS 9000. Next slide. So this is just an example of, whoop. So you can go back to the cashier check. There you go. So this is just an example of an actual printed cashier's check that you would be able to print. The next slide. This is just an example of that 2-inch high print area that I shared with you that you would be able to print. So again, you have at least 16 lines that you could print information on. It can be a combination of graphic or text, and this is all customizable based on what images you would like to use and what you would like to print on the receipt. Next slide. Another advantage on the TMS 9000 is we also have ink indicator lights on our unit. And I'm sure that you all have experienced some challenges when all of a sudden you're in the middle of a transaction and you run out of ink and you have to go back and redo that particular transaction because you were not aware that the unit was going to be running out of ink. So on the Epson solutions, we do have an ink low indicator to alert your tellers that the ink is getting low and that they're going to want to go in and check it. We also have the ability within the software, working with our software companies, to capture the information and be able to have that all monitored and managed as well. Next slide. This is just an example of the two-sided ID scanning. As I shared with you, we can do the driver's license read. It is in color. And as you can see on the upper right-hand side of the unit, the driver's license would just be inserted into the side of the unit. It would automatically grab the driver's license, read that information, capture the driver's license, and then have that information stored and forwarded wherever you would like for it to go. So understanding that we have these benefits built into the S9000 and the S2000 that I am going to talk to you about, we have worked with all of the software companies to be able to capture this information, and they are open to work with you all to determine where you want this information to be sent, how you want it to be stored, and it also provides you the ability to capture magstripe information, driver's license information, to verify that that customer that is in front of you is in fact who that person is, and it allows you to take the information and store it across your organization. Next slide. So the TMS 2000, I am not going to go into a lot of detail just for the sake of time about the TMS 2000, because the only difference between the TMS 2000 and the TMS 9000 that we just spoke about is the 2000 does not have a thermal receipt printer built into it. So if you were looking for back counter versus front counter teller capture, the TMS 2000 would be an ideal choice for you to consider. So again, if you think of the TMS 9000, of all the feature functionality features that we have on that product, the TMS 2000, again, is the exact same product without the thermal receipt printer built into it. Next slide. So I put this slide in my presentation just to share with you all the depth of information that is captured within the Epson solutions. All of the items that you see listed here, from the number of scans, the amount of paper that is printed, the number of pocket switching or frank counting, or however many times the unit needed to be open. You can go on and on and on. This is just a sample of the API functionality. This is the software that is built into our products, and working with our software companies, they're able to monitor and extract this information, and again, work with you to be able to capture this information for you to better manage your hardware in all of your branches and locations. Next slide. Okay, so yes, we have competition out in the marketplace, but I don't want everybody to be fooled by people that try to imitate the Epson solutions, right? So, Renee? So there are a number of stack solutions which we reference as a product as a stack solution out in the marketplace. And the difference between the stack solution and an all-in-one solution is that this is a product that does imaging, and then it is literally stacked on top of another product that offers all the feature-rich products and services that I just reviewed with you from an Epson TMS 9000 and TMS 2000 solution. So if you click on the next slide, Renee. There are definitely an advantage to the stack solution. It does create a little bit of a smaller reduced footprint at the teller location. But the next slide. There are some drawbacks to a stack solution. Next, just keep on hitting it. There you go. So within the stack solution, the products are typically designed by two different manufacturers. You typically have two or more power cables, data cables, different drivers, custom printers, paper drawers that you have to deal with. And as I shared with you all, with the all-in-one, the TMS 9000 or TMS 2000, it is truly an integrated all-in-one device. It has one power supply, and it has the USB hub on it. It also reduces the need to have 2 or 3 or 4 different products at the teller, window. So it definitely creates more room, especially when real estate is at premium in the teller location. Next slide. So just in conclusion, a very brief, again, overview of the TMS 9000 and the TMS 2000. I just will share with you one more time that the TMS 2000, again, is the exact same product that you see here as the TMS 9000, except it does not have the thermal receipt printer built into the unit. So it's best in class in image quality. It has an inkjet printer to print your cashier checks and also do your 2-inch high receipt printer. It has two-sided check scanning speeds of 110 and 200 documents per minute. It has your MagStripe read of tracks 1, 2, and 3. It has the fastest check scanning speed in the marketplace today and the smallest footprint of a true all-in-one device. The highest Micker read accuracy available, which we guarantee at 99.9%. 16 lines of your printed endorsement, two-sided color ID, driver's license reading, and again, the industry-leading thermal receipt printer that prints at about 12 inches per second. So it'll do everything except make your coffee in the morning. So just in an overview, last slide, please. I hope that this brief overview provided you some additional information about the Epson products and the imaging solutions that we have to offer for teller capture, whether it's front counter or whether it's back counter. Again, you have our Capture 1, which is primarily used in our RDC space. The middle product is our TMS 9000, and the last product to the right side is our TMS 2000. So in closing, thank you for, again, letting Epson participate in the webinar. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. We look forward to being of service to you.
Thank you, Linda. And for the next 15-minute segment, I would like to introduce everyone to Joe Shuley, who is the Strategic Partner Manager at Panini North America. Joe, you there?
I am. Thanks, Renee, and just to restate what Linda just said, thanks, Renee and Lou, for putting this webinar together. I'd like to take a few moments of all your time today to talk a little bit about Panini's teller capture solution, as well as a new software solution that we have for managing your devices. So if you can go on and start with the first main slide, Renee. Just a little bit of a glance at who Panini is. We've been in business since 1945, originally starting out as a office equipment distributor. What Panini found back in the late 40s and early 50s in northern Italy was that there was a need for some document handling equipment that could actually handle tissue paper thin documents that were prevalent at the time. That is when Panini started to get into the actual manufacture of document handling equipment. So a lot of our innovation through the years came through our manufacture of document copiers, high-speed sorters, and imagers. And most recently, of course, our Vision X and My Vision X series of check scanners. We have a global presence. Our U.S. headquarters is in Dayton, Ohio. our global headquarters in Turin, Italy, and we also have an office in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Panini has been the leader in distributed capture solutions for 6 straight years. Next slide, Renee. So this graphic came from remotedepositcapture.com. It just gives you an idea of the Panini solutions and the number of units that are out there. So we can move on to the next slide. I'd like to talk about a little bit about our innovation, our quality, and our leadership. This comes from, as I had mentioned, almost 70 years of experience in the industry. Panini does have valuable partnerships, of course, UniLink, as well as all of the teller solution ISVs, the independent software vendors. So you can be assured that whoever teller solution you're using is compatible with the Panini products. Additionally, we have consultative tools. We have, as Lou had mentioned, a white paper that we had put together. We commissioned a really nice white paper on the benefits of teller image capture, including return on investment analyses and case studies. And as I had mentioned briefly before, our asset management solution, Avantor, what that does is that helps maximize the return on your capital expense, your investment in your hardware. We have a variety of scalable payment processing solutions, most of which you're probably familiar with. The MyVision X, which led to the Vision X series, and one of the things I'm going to discuss today is the Vision X multifunction system. Next slide, Renee, please. The Vision X is the world's best-selling check scanner. It was designed specifically for distributed capture, and we're approaching 1 million installations, over 650,000 installations under the Panini brand, plus a couple 100,000 installations under other multiple brands. And we're still providing industry-leading reliability in price and performance. So on the next slide, I'll go a little bit into detail about the Vision X itself. Some of the features. The Vision X can get up to 125 documents per minute. It has complete scalability. It will go from single feed units to batch feeds, 15 documents per minute up to 125 documents per minute. One of the other key features on the Vision X, it has an ultrasonic double feed detect system. Most scanners that are out there use light to penetrate the checks to see if there's a double feed. The light has trouble penetrating heavy check stock. What ultrasonic does is it sends a sound wave to detect the actual space between two sheets, as opposed to trying to send an infrared light between the paper. Additionally, we have double magnet Micker reading. We use double magnet for a more accurate Micker read. We have auto feeder, roller designs, track design, and accessibility, which makes it easy to clear jams and clean the scanner. And additionally, we also have multiple exit pocket option if that's what you desire or if that's what you need. Next slide. So with that, and it looks like I borrowed Linda's picture here from her presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about our Vision X multifunction system. It's a multifunction device that supports branch automation initiatives with improved teller productivity, consolidated teller counter space, which I'll talk about a little bit, and improved customer satisfaction. Next, Renee, please. Some of the features, best-in-class check image capture, as you can see, is using the Panini Vision X. Validation and endorsement printing from the Vision X up to 4 lines. Thermal roll tape printer, receipt printer, and one of the advantages of having a detached thermal roll tape receipt printer is it can be oriented on either side or right in front. And what that allows is for the flexibility for available workspace on the desktop. You can position this where you need it and however you need it. And we also have a full-page scanning module that will take 8.5 by 11 that will be available soon. Additionally, we have MagStripe reader that's available, Smart Card reader, and there is also a hard card device scanner that's available on this as well. It has an extra USB ports for other device connections, so you actually plug the USB cables into the device itself, and it also has a common power hub, so you have a common USB and a common power cable, so you're only using one cable to go back to the PC and one power cable to go to the power strip. Next, Renee. So what I'd like to talk to you a little bit now is our asset management solution. It's a product called Avantor. And as you move from branch capture to teller capture, the number of devices that you have increases dramatically, as does the amount of resources necessary to manage and maintain those devices. So what you're faced now with are challenges in the areas of minimizing your total cost of ownership, optimizing the performance and the lifespan of the product that you just purchased, so all of the hardware, identifying the device trends and issues to minimize any disruption. So what you want to do is you want to be able to identify if specific devices are having specific issues and continue to have specific issues. So you're able to replace the device, repair the device, or clean the device when necessary. Next slide, Renee. What Avantor is, and I apologize, but I'm going to read you this slide because this is an important message, and I want to deliver it exactly the way Panini likes to have it delivered. Avantor is a standards-based, modular, and extensible software platform. It effectively and efficiently optimizes the total cost of ownership of Panini scanners and delivers maximum productivity to their users. It's based on asset management, performance optimization, and security. And I will get into, and I promise I won't read directly the slides coming up, but I'll get into each and every one of those on the next slide to explain what I mean. So if you can go to the next slide, Renee. So for the Avantor architecture, it's standards-based architecture. What makes it standard-based? It's based on industry-standard protocols, including TCP/IP and SNMP. It is browser and database agnostic, and it's multiple operating systems, initially Windows-based, and it's now been extended to Linux and Mac. The benefits of having standards-based architecture, the impact on your existing IT environment is minimized in every aspect. On the client side, it uses SNMP protocol, which is Simple Network Management Protocol. It's already installed with all operating systems. And what that allows is that actually allows us to help you manage other devices that use SNMP protocol, not just Panini devices, but other brands and other products as well. On the server side, it's minimum requirements in terms of processor. You don't need a dedicated server. You can partition an existing server. And your RAM and disk space requirements are minimum. For traffic, there's minimum amount of data required to guarantee the proper level of devices monitoring. So for the modularity and extensibility, Avantor's architecture positions it for extension into third-party SNMP compliant devices, which I'd mentioned, and integration with leading enterprise management solutions. Avantor is based on a core module and a number of accessory modules. The core module, which I'll talk about a little bit more for this presentation, and also an advanced geolocation module, which actually can identify within a couple of meters where the device actually is located. The benefits is modules can be added during the first installation or at any later time. The number of licenses is scalable. And the Avantor can be integrated, as I mentioned, into third-party SNMP devices. In other words, it can be used for other check scanners. It can be used with receipt printers and a number of other devices. excuse me. Avantor can monitor these third-party SNMP devices for compliance checks as well. For the asset management, the core module, what it does, it tracks how many scanners are deployed, where they're located, which models, configurations, firmware, and software release are being used, and how much they're being used. What are the benefits of this? It allows simpler, faster, and more reliable inventories. You can easily track your scanner location changes. You can reduce your physical asset write-offs, and you can monitor the progress meter of a branch installation as scanners are gradually rolled out. They'll know which locations are already installed and if they match the plan type and configuration. You can control the activity and status of RDC client stations as well, though I know today we're talking about teller capture. You can verify the adequacy of the installed base for a new software rollout. Now, for performance optimization, the Avantor's core model, it collects data on performance-relevant events such as MICR rejects, paper jams, consumable wear, ink cartridge level, CIS and or transport issues, and more. It can tell you when your ink is low. It can send an email to somebody and actually order more ink for you. It can tell you when the device needs cleaned. It can alert you when a critical condition is reached based on levels that you define. And it can also provide reporting charts usable for trend analysis. This increases the device availability, preventing device downtime and poor performance. And that's all thanks to proactive issue identification and resolution. So help desk staff using Avantor will be able to offer predictive maintenance and quicker reaction. Repair resources are deployed only when necessary and already informed about the issue, and replacement units are shipped only when unavoidable. In addition to that, we also have the ability to host this for you as well if you're interested and have Panini be the help desk. So the last item on there is the scanner security. And again, this is more for remote deposit capture installations. I won't get into this other than to say it is imperative for the financial institution to know where every one of their scanners physically is located. Our product can do that for you. Not only can it do that, but if the product is located somewhere where it's not supposed to be, you have the ability to shut down the device, and it cannot be reactivated on your network without using the Avantor software. So that brings me to the end. Renee, if you can go to the next. I believe that's our contact information. Adam Smith works on my team. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to both Adam and I, and we'll be happy to provide you anything that you need. And as Lou had mentioned, we work directly through Lou to provide you any sort of samples or additional information.
Thank you, Joe. We're running right on time, which is great. And before we continue, I want to let everyone know listening in that this session is being recorded. If you want a copy of it, feel free to type in the chat box during the webinar with your email address, and we'd be happy to send you a link to the presentation. And also, don't hesitate, throughout this presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in as we're going along, and we'll answer them accordingly. Now, I'm going to introduce everyone to John Wesner, who is the Program Director of Check Automation Solutions at Burroughs, and he will be presenting with Chuck Lean, the Partner Relationship Executive. John and Chuck, you can take it away.
Thank you, and actually I'm going to have Chuck do the majority of the presentation, so we'll give him the credit.
Thanks a lot, John. I want to also thank Renee and UniLink and Lou and everyone that's attending for coming online today. And this first slide really just kind of represents our contact information, which I assume UniLink will make available to you soon. So on to the next slide. As you can see here, our all-in-one concept utilizes what we believe and what we hope you will believe at the end of our presentation is a better idea. We separate the scanning and receipt printing into two unique and high quality devices, which are, like Linda talked about, stacked to give the greatest amount of footprint available, the lowest amount of footprint necessary in the teller window. Next slide. To begin with, the Smart Source scanner from Burroughs has a long line of history in the capture of documents at the teller line. Based on our award-winning patented technology and the movement of paper through the track, our magnetic ink and optical character recognition capabilities, the document separation at the feed station, eliminating double documents being processed, and then we really separate ourselves from other UniLink partners in the capture of images and Micker ink up front that allows your application provider for front counter to work with your institution individually in decisioning on what endorsement you'd like to print on the back of each item, up to 4 lines of information with 40 characters per line on the Smart Source, true type fonts, bitmap or JPEG graphics and logos, and what pocket you'd like the item to be placed into, because we have, as you see here, a dual pocket device. We also have single pocket devices. Another option you might like to choose is to purchase at a lower cost with a lower speed scanner, and then if ever necessary in the future, you can email Burroughs, and we can email you back an upgrade from Burroughs to anywhere from 30 documents per minute, 55, 80, and 120 documents per minute on the Smart Source. Because of our superior document handling, we support the processing of documents as small as 2.9 inches and as thick as ATM envelopes if you decide to do perhaps next day ATM reconciliation. And we can image those envelopes right on our scanners as well. So it's very flexible from the area of a document handling standpoint. In fact, we've got clients who are approaching running over 7 million items on one Smart Source scanner. So it's not only flexible, but it's pretty sturdy as well. Finally, they can use an ESB or an Ethernet connection with an IP address for your clients who run Citrix at the teller window today. Next slide. We call the newer model of the Smart Source the Open Series, as we mechanically open the feeder to await the teller documents to be dropped into the feeder, and the scanner can either automatically feed or feed can be initiated by a simple press of the start button that you can see on the top of the scanner on the right side here. It's that little white button that's there. That button also allows the operator or the teller to clear the track if a document were ever to get stopped in process due to paper clips or staples or torn documents or whatever, eliminating the need for your tellers to have to remove or open covers or reach into the scanner to retrieve documents in the unlikely event of a jam. They simply flush the track and reprocess the item. And also, as you can see here, there's a bright white silk-screened line showing where the teller where the items are to start the transaction. The Smart Source also utilizes a Smart Ink cartridge, which reports to the capture application when the ink cartridge is getting low. And that just pops up on the teller screen and says, hey, you might want to have someone from administration get an ink cartridge to your location at some point in the future because you're getting low on ink. Next slide. We've redesigned our output pocket as well. With this maintenance-free permanent paddle, we've removed some operator-required maintenance there that we used to have. They were replaceable pocket fingers. Those no longer are there. And this is completely maintenance-free. Next slide. As well, we've replaced our ink catcher. So that's basically been replaced with a lifetime ink cartridge catcher, or ink cartridge catcher. So that never has to be replaced. And again, one more maintenance item has been removed from having to have a teller do something there. Next slide. So with all these new feature enhancements, we, again, as I stated at the start of my presentation, hope you'll agree that the ideas and innovations behind the SmartSource make it the best idea scanner and the easiest for your tellers to use due to its maintenance-free capabilities when compared to all the other front counter teller scanners. Next slide. Rounding out our all-in-one design, we also manufacture what we call the Receipt Now. It's a completely separate device for use on the front counter. Next slide. Which allows your teller or your configuration scanner to be placed on top of the printer and take no additional space in the teller window. It's a great design idea that some of the other scanner manufacturers have already talked about and have employed as well. Next slide. The thermal print nature of the Burroughs Receipt Now allows your clients to customize their receipts at a central location in the institution and then download that to all the printers. So if they want to use institution logos, include as much of the transaction information as the application provider allow, even to the point of printing checks deposited without the MICR line. Here we're showing a sample that's got the MICR line on there. You probably would cut that off and just show the checks themselves. Or even advertise new deposit or loan instruments, print marketing messages, merchant coupons. All that can be customized by the institution and changed daily very simply by the end user. Next slide. The printer is very heavy duty, estimated to print over 62 miles of paper. We even offer a optional maintenance plan for under $100 that gives you 5 days of next day replacement on these printers. So we're really confident that they're not going to wear out.
That's 5 years, Chuck.
Did I say 5 years? I thought I said 5 years, yeah. Next slide. And if you decide to use another brand of scanner or a new scanner that comes out that's less expensive or faster or better, it's a better all-in-one for your teller, our Receipt Now can also support any scanner that you have. We just put a template in there, and any competitive scanner can be supported on the Receipt Now. So if you pick up a branch that has different scanners, all you have to do is put a Receipt Now right with them, and you have an all-in-one teller capability. Next slide. If you really want to go all-in-one, our SmartSource with our Burroughs Smart Receipt software, which allows you to print any of your current stock of deposit tickets, cash-ins, cash-outs, and counter checks, and receipts right on the scanner itself, with the full capabilities of the scanner endorser that I mentioned earlier, this eliminates the need for a printer altogether. So you can use your scanner as your printer. This option works really well, and we encourage you to work with your teller application providers about this wonderful capability. And this feature can also be combined with the Receipt Now in order to provide the full function capabilities of the Receipt Now and printing all of the terrific graphics and coupons and whatnot, and how they're very easily customizable for your end user clients as they get their receipts. And then you might just simply print your counter checks on the SmartSource scanner itself. So this is a great design feature that we feel is advantageous for you. Next slide. And finally, if you're looking for what we think is the smartest piece of intelligence for monitoring software at the main location, Burroughs offers what we call SmartSource Intelligence. It's a small server application which is completely customizable by your organization. It has a great dashboard for a quick look at all of your locations to see if there are any issues that need attention. For example, there might be an ink cartridge that's going low. This application would provide that capability to you at a central location. It provides built-in reporting on your standard scanner statistics like number of items processed, reject rates from particular scanners, jams on a particular scanner, operator efficiency reporting, and if your scanners are smart enough, like the Smart Source, and they can report their serial numbers for asset tracking and ink cartridge levels, as our ink endorsers are smart, and they can report that information through the scanner and to the software. This monitoring and tracking software can report that to you. And it's quite inexpensive and can be implemented in a couple hours by branch, by region, any location moniker you choose to build. And all Smart Source intelligent data can be exported into Excel or any other type of database reporting that you might want to use outside of the fantastic statistical reporting that we already have built into our product. And as well, if you like, Burroughs could host this software for you as a software as a service provision. Next slide. At Burroughs, we really feel like our unique ability with the manufacturing and design build plant right here in the United States, and our support lines located right here in Plymouth, Michigan, and our flexible method of providing your institution with an all-in-one product designed to meet your needs today and as you move forward with speed, the quality of image, the best ability to move paper without frequent jams, and the maintenance-free design that you will agree that Burroughs really does have one of the best ideas for this all-in-one concept. Renee, thanks for your time, and we'll be in touch soon. Blessings on everyone's holiday and the rest of 2013 and your team.
Thanks, Chuck. Next up, I'd like to introduce all of you to Mike Donovan, the Director of U.S. Channel Sales at Digital Check. Mike, you there?
I am. Thank you, Renee. And I'd just like to echo what the other presenters said, and appreciate everybody carving part of their day out to hear us walk through the industry solutions. I am the Director of U.S. Sales with Digital Check. We wanted to spend a little bit of time today highlighting our teller solutions. We welcome the opportunity to go into a more detailed conversation. If you have questions about anything you see presented today, or you would like to know a little bit more about the Digital Check solutions, I encourage you to reach out to UniLink, and we can coordinate another conversation. Renee, if you want to go to the next slide. As far as Digital Check, these are the 4 items that we want to cover with you today. And I'd also like to point out just a little bit about Digital Check before we jump into the hardware itself. Digital Check, our company began in 1959. We are a privately owned U.S.-based company. We're based out of just outside of Chicago. And we always like to take the opportunity when we get a chance to point out that we're also a U.S. manufacturer. The scanners that we'll be talking about today are manufactured in California. So with that, we want to cover today the TS240 batch scanner. We want to talk about our thermal receipt printer, the TTP, or teller transaction printer. Talk about our remote monitoring and management solution called DCC Advisor. And then finally spend just a couple of minutes talking about the API, so what kind of goes on behind the scenes outside of the hardware that helps us with optimizing image. Renee, if you want to move to the next slide. The TellerScan TS240 Digital Check has a wide breadth of a product roadmap. We make single feed scanners for low volume remote deposit capture all the way up to 200 document a minute back counter devices. And the TS240 is right in the meat of that product line. This is our flagship product. This is our batch scanner. It's used in not only high volume remote deposit capture, but specifically for teller line solutions. This represents our 5th generation of scanners. We are focused on manufacturing check scanners. It comes in 3 varieties of speeds, 50, a 75, or 100 DPM scanner speed. And the nice thing about that, these are field upgradable speeds. So if you make the investment at, say, a 50 document per minute scanner and down the road decide for whatever reason, gosh, I wish this was running at a faster speed, that's an upgrade you can purchase through UniLink. We send an executable file, and you're able to upgrade that speed, so it's not a sunk cost in the form of that scanner. We do utilize 300 DPI cameras, front and rear CSI lenses, and these are non-contact lenses, so we don't encourage the paper to rub up against the lens itself, which just minimizes the amount of cleaning you have to do by getting any of the oils or whiteout or whatever is on the front of a check or back of a check onto those lenses. We do use a 100-document input feeder as well as a 100-document exit pocket. We have a variety of features that can be purchased with the TS240 scanner if you're interested in putting a rear endorsement on the check. There is the option of a single-line rear endorsement as well as a 4-line rear endorsement. We also offer franking if that's of interest, as well as a UV option. It's not really in demand domestically. Internationally, we have seen some demand to have UV capability built into the scanner for those countries that have standardized on some UV-impregnated checks. We do have a built-in scanner diagnostics feature with the TS240 that is of particular interest to potentially your tech teams that allow a user at a teller line with the press of a couple of buttons to bring up a wealth of information about the scanner activity, as well as the PC that it's hooked up to. And it just helps your tech team and our tech team do a little root cause analysis without having to replace the scanner. The TS240 scanners are not only CEC 4 compliant, California emissions, but also Energy Star compliant as well. And one thing you'll notice with a digital check TS240 line is it is ergonomically designed specifically for a teller. If you notice, it's designed actually to be used by more often than not a right-handed teller, since we have more right-handed tellers as far as the placement of the entry pocket. It's a single-hand operation. There's no need to use a second hand to press a button or pull back a plunger of some type, so they can run it with one single hand. And from a reliability standpoint, again, this is our 5th generation scanner. We measure annualized warranty returns at 0.5%. This is an extremely robust solution. If you can go to the next slide. So that's a little bit about the scanner. Let's talk just a moment about the thermal receipt solution, our teller transaction printer, or TTP. This is a modular design. You've seen several different strategies for an all-in-one device. We prefer the modular design for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously, and it's been talked about, the counter space savings. Real estate at the teller line is at a premium. So being able to combine functionality without extending the footprint is a priority. Another thing you'll find with the TTP or the modular design is you can install it as needed. There you go. If it's something that you have a printer solution in place now, but are in need of going ahead and moving to image capture, it's something where you can go ahead and roll out the scanner portion of that, and then as either budget or the need arises, purchase separately the TTP and install it underneath the scanner. And from a hot swap, if one of the features or one of the functionality were to go down, say the scanner portion for whatever reason needed to be replaced, you don't have to replace the entire solution. You simply lift the TS240 scanner off, hot swap it, or vice versa with the printer, so you're not losing all of your functionality or replacing all of the functionality that's in this solution when only one of the features is not performing. We utilize a thermal print engine within the TTP. It's manufactured by a leader in the industry, Cognitive TPG. We've talked a little bit about some of the benefits of transitioning over to a thermal receipt solution. Number one being the consumable costs or the savings because of the lack of consumable costs and moving to a thermal print technology solution. There's less paper consumption. They're very, very simple to use. Very short learning curve. Minimal training for this. They simply need to open the drawer, drop a new paper roll in, and then close it, and you're moving on. From a customer experience, you're now looking at a single consolidated receipt. They may go up with several transactions. They're walking away with one receipt. It's very fast and efficient, and that means less wait time for the customer, but probably more importantly, more face time for the teller. So there's an opportunity for them to spend a little more time cross-selling. We've deployed the solution for 3 years now. We've got thousands of them out in the marketplace. One of the benefits that institutions that have rolled the solution out have come back to us and said was one of the big features for them was being able to turn what is normally just simply a receipt into a custom marketing message. Renee, if you can go to the next slide. And by that I mean they can move to this product that comes with each printer. There's no additional cost for it. It's by the name of ReceiptWare, and this is a receipt design and editing tool. And what this does is it allows you to create a graphic-rich receipt and allows you to add any of the marketing messages you would like to. And the beauty of this is done in-house. This is something that can be designed and implemented by your IT or marketing team. So rather than relying on the teller to remember specifically what you're trying to get across to the customers this week or this month, this allows the customer to walk away with that message and also reminds the tellers they rip that receipt off and look at it about what you maybe are prodding them to talk to the customers about. And the options are really endless. It's a full-featured program. Renee, if you can move to the next slide. This would give you we've seen a number of examples, creative examples. Some of these I've sort of pirated from some of the banks that have rolled this solution out, but putting your CD rates at the bottom. We've seen QR codes added to the bottom that when scanned with a smartphone go to a website that you're running a promotion on. One particular institution, very creative, they actually put their loan officer's contact information and picture in this case on the bottom of the receipt for each branch. And this is something that can be rolled out across your entire enterprise and standardized on the receipt. And it could also be down to the individual teller line having a different message at the top, bottom, or anywhere it's on that receipt. So a very dynamic marketing tool that allows you to maximize that piece of paper that your customer walks away with. Renee, if you can go to the next slide. This is an ROI calculator that we'd be happy to provide if you're interested in looking at the cost savings and moving to a TTP solution. It's something we can put in your hands. You can plug in some of your costs if you're analyzing or trying to make a case for the move to that technology. This could be a useful tool. Happy to distribute that. Just simply put a request into UniLink and we can get that out to you. Renee, if you can move to the next slide. On top of this, Digital Check also has a remote monitoring and management solution. This is called Advisor by Digital Check. And this is a very robust tool. We won't go into the deep into the features of it with the time we have allotted here today, but I think the takeaway from a remote monitoring management solution from a teller application perspective is really these are put in place to minimize your maintenance costs, minimize the false replacement costs to really optimize your total cost of ownership as you proactively manage and monitor the health of the scanners that are on your network. We've partnered with an organization by the name of Esprita. Digital Check is a leader in check scanning solutions and the manufacturer of. Esprita is an industry leader in remote monitoring of IT equipment. So we went sort of to the combined two of the top providers in each respective industry to provide a solution specific to Digital Check. And again, this is designed to have you analyze and look at root cause analysis of issues. This is a cloud-based solution. It can be hosted on-site within your firewall, but it's also can be a cloud-based solution. There's a web-based dashboard, a very robust reporting engine. We won't go into the number of reports, but they're very configurable. We can monitor things such as how often you've cleaned the scanner. Does the inkjet cartridge need to be replaced? We can report on scanners that are having a bad day, those reporting jams, those that are underperforming, where we've seen a rise or an increase in exception items that are going through it. And Esprita has the ability, if you appreciate the monitoring of the scanners, to go in and monitor other components within the branch as well. If you could go to the next slide. This is just a sample of a couple of the reports that come up. There's a dashboard up on the left, and again, a geolocation monitor down on the lower right. Just wanted you to be aware, again, there's a kind of a myriad of different reports, and we'd be happy to talk more about those specific ones at your convenience. If you could go to the next slide. The last thing I want to discuss is lowering your cost by minimizing the exceptions. One of the things that cause heartburn in this industry is it relates to not only teller image capture, but also image capture in general, and the number of exceptions that have to be handled. And these are those troublesome documents. I mean, the scanners, and not specifically digital check, the scanners on the market today, they do a very good job with a majority of the checks that are out there and capturing a gray image and converting that to a bitonal image. What we like to specialize in are that 10% of checks that cause a real issue in the industry, and we do that with what we call special document handling. And this allows us to go in and sort of custom handle those exception documents. And we do it through image, where we see, let's take a money order. They cause a lot of problems. As an example, we're able to go in, use a customized threshold so that we maximize the bitonal image that we're going to get out of that particular document. We can utilize it for fraud notification. If there's known accounts that you want flagged, we're able to go in and monitor that and throw a soft error or a hard error message to the application that you're using. And also for MICR, we can recognize poor MICR. And if there's a particular document in a certain region that is a known good document, for instance, but for whatever reason that payroll check is using very little magnetic toner, we can recognize that as well and send a notification to the application. So if you'd like to move to the next slide, Renee. This is just a sample of image capture with a problematic document. This is very common in our industry to get a money order that's very tough to image, and you can see with our special document handling, we're able to pull out that background and hand off a fine bitonal image. If you can move to the next. That's the 4 items that I wanted to cover today, specific to our solutions around teller image capture, and that's the TS240 scanner, the TTP printer, our remote monitoring and management service, as well as some of the magic that we utilize within our API. Again, I appreciate your time and want to thank UniLink as well for giving us the stage.
Thank you, Mike. Lastly, I'd like to introduce everyone to Bob Ladich, who is with Business Development and Financial Markets at Canon. He's here to present the Canon Teller Capture System. Bob, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yep, can you hear me there? Okay. Well, as everybody already mentioned, if you could go to the next slide, please. We certainly do our inclusion in UniLink's presentation today. Whether it's in person or via WebEx types of formats, we certainly do enjoy direct interface with end users. And I can't proceed without saying that it's always an honor to be in such a distinguished company as our fine competitors whom you've already heard from. Wanted to start by saying that Canon offers our resellers, like UniLink, a host of resources necessary to support you, the customer, from sales groups to product support and field support to our marketing groups. Our goal is to provide you not only with the best-of-breed product, but the support system necessary to keep you up and running for a long time, over the long haul. Next slide, please. Of all of the presentations that I do, this is my favorite slide. It really is. I love to talk about Canon, and I love to talk about the really cool things that are going on. So I'll give you a quick overview. Canon's headquarters is currently in Melville, New York. We just completed our new office building, as seen in the rendering above. It's a very cool place. It's LEED Gold certified. It's got all the coolest office technologies that you can have. And on the superlatives on just to the right of the image, note that Canon's annual worldwide sales are approximately $44 billion, and that somewhere between, 6 and 10% of that figure is allocated to R&D activities, which means it could be upwards of, $4 billion that could be devoted to developing and bringing all these best-of-breed products to the market. Canon's a big company. It's worldwide, operates in 153 countries, almost 200,000 employees, ranked number 3 in the world for patent registration. These numbers blow me away. 2,800 patents were granted in 2011. So that's a lot of R&D going on there. So we're really proud to talk about some of those accomplishments on a high-level statement. If you could go to the next one, please. But for this particular discussion, we're going to focus on Canon scanners. Canon has a full line of micro-enabled check transports that can be used from branch capture to high-end RDC. As you can see, our current product lineup consists of the CR50, and the numbers there, the 50, 80, and et cetera, all indicate the speed of the device. So CR50, 80, 135, 135, and the CR190. Those are our current products in the scanner lineup. So more specifically, the CR50 and 80 can be used at the teller window in conjunction with receipt printers, and we'll talk about that in just a second. That's the topic of the day. We do also see that the CR135 and 190 do have a home in teller configurations, primarily for back counter, for those high volume windows, like a business window or something like that. So let's go to the next slide, please. So I just mentioned printing. This is the configuration for the scanner. This is the CR50 or the CR80 can sit atop the printer. As you can see the image there, the scanner on top with the printer underneath. We have a relationship with Star Micronics. They're a large worldwide company, and they manufacture print engines, and they're the experts. So we're going to leave the printing to them. They've designed an adapter that accommodates the Canon scanner so that it just sits atop the printer in a very safe and snug fashion. The cables are on the backs of the machines, so they're neatly tucked out of the way. But this is not to say that the Canon devices only work in this configuration with the Star printer. It's only one option. You can use whichever printing device that you want, what you already have or any other printer. And in this case, based on an earlier presentation, you could even use a Burroughs printer. So Canon's current product offering for the teller counter is either the scanner only or the scanner with the receipt printer in that 2-device, 1-footprint configuration. And as mentioned, there are some benefits that we believe strongly to the device configuration as you see it. We already heard about small footprint, takes up very little space. In fact, this configuration is very space-saving, probably among the smallest in the industry. We heard about the serviceability, about hot swapping, whatever needs to be hot swapped, not the entire unit, and a reduced cost. You only need to buy what you need to buy. But there's something else, and that's the ongoing maintenance. When you buy the scanner and you start using it, you're going to want to put it under a maintenance contract. And this type of configuration on an ongoing basis is really pocketbook friendly. Next slide, please. So even though you may know Canon as it relates to branch capture, lockbox processing, and remote deposit offerings, we do have a strong presence in the teller capture market. So we had to put a little image of somebody in a teller window up there. Next, please. Now, what's also very key for you to know, and we've heard these comments today already, but they hold true for Canon as well, that we have very strong relationships with the software companies. We do call them ISVs, these companies that drive the teller capture devices. You can see just a small handful of them. There are actually, it says we have over 80 Check Transport Alliance partners. We have a lot more than that. This is kind of a dated slide, so there's just too much to put on one slide or even a couple of slides, but just know that we have very strong relationships with these companies, and it's core to a successful implementation that we have a strong relationship with the ISV. So we spend a lot of time supporting them from a technology standpoint, and there's a tremendous amount of collaboration between Canon and these software partners. So next slide, let's transition to some of the key technologies that make Canon scanners unique and so well received in the marketplace. So we're going to focus on really three primary areas, maybe a fourth one. We're going to talk about image quality, microtechnology, product design features, and feeding. So what we see here is an image, and it's not too bad really. There's an image on the left-hand side that's got a nice scenic background, and the image on the right-hand side that's nice and clean. So key to this is this. One statement that we can very safely say is that Canon knows images. All of the products in the Canon portfolio use technologies that somehow deal with an image, from the cameras and fax machines and laser printers and ophthalmologic equipment, digital x-rays. There's so many things that Canon does that you may not know about, but there's always something to do with an image. And that $9 billion spent on R&D do filter down to our check scanners as well. So what that means to you is that the check image that's captured via the CR scanner that's processed by your teller or branch capture software is of very high quality. Further, the software that does the CAR-LAR and image handling that's based on image or IQA has a better chance of success when it's dealing with a high-quality image to start with. So, in other words, fewer rejects due to IQA issues. Now, we've heard some of these examples already, savings bonds, WIC checks, money orders, and we're starting to see savings bonds get scanned. And those are tough. And all of these are notoriously difficult items to capture well. So this fine text filtering technology that we use, which is basically the default for our ISVs to integrate as your standard scanner setting, it's very key to being able to take that poor quality image and make it something that the software can do without creating an exception. Next, please. Another very important component of the process is accurate microreading. Canon has what is called OCR Assist, and this is basically reading the microline magnetically and OCRing it for greater accuracy and pass-through to the application. Our previous generations of scanners have always had very high-quality image and high microreading algorithms and technologies, but our newer devices are, well, they're better simply because of the evolution and improvement of technologies. Plus, now we're combining two technologies, the OCR and the microreading, but it's all done behind the scenes. You don't know about it. It's all done with the capture software. So we work very closely with the ISVs to incorporate all these features into the driver options. So the benefit of this, again, is fewer rejects due to micro misreads. Next one, please. This is really kind of cool. Another unique aspect of Canon's products is that our heritage is in kind of a consumer-based product. Just think about all the cameras and multifunction printers. You may have one at home or in the office. Consumer devices really need to be designed so that there is very little guesswork involved in figuring them out and using them. So ease of use and ease of maintenance are key to a positive user experience and the overall longevity of the machine. So this is true with check scanners as well. They were designed with these concepts in mind. So as you can see in the scanner, the paper path is, the image is up above. The paper path is very accessible. The CR190 up on the left has one cover that can be easily removed for additional access to the scanner.
Hey, Bob, are you still with us?
I think we lost him.
What we'll do is we'll wait about another minute to see if Bob can dial back in. If he can't, we're right at the end of our presentation, and we'll cover some questions and do the drawing.
For the time being, if anybody wants to type in some more questions, feel free into the question or chat box on your webinar screen. And as a reminder, we will follow up with you with a PDF of all of the questions and answers when the webinar is over. And we'll also send you a link to the webinar. That'll be sometime next week. If you'd like sometime down the road, you can also find our past webinars on our website, www.unilinkinc.com, and click on Webinars in the left bottom column. Let's just wait a few more seconds to see if Bob can get back on.
Okay, so Bob only had 2 more slides, so we regret that he was disconnected, but we're going to move into the next part of the presentation. Renee, for starters here, is going to let us know who the winner is of the drawing.
Diana Thack, thank you for participating. You are going to receive a Target and Starbucks gift card. We will mail that to you in the next week or so. So thank you.
Okay, so now let's move on to a couple of questions. And like Renee said, all the questions will be answered in a PDF format and forward to all the participants of today's webinar. The first question is, are all the scanners Windows 7 and Windows 8 compatible? I will tell you that as the various operating systems are released, the scanner manufacturers get them, and they make sure that their scanners are compatible with them, and they push off the drivers to the software companies, and it's up to the software companies to implement the drivers into their software. So I would believe that they are Windows 7 and Windows 8 compatible. However, you would need to contact the software company that you're going to be using for teller capture to confirm for sure that they are Windows 7 or Windows 8 compatible. The next question that I'm going to answer is, for the customer receipts, do those get run through the scanner tray? No, the customer receipts do not run through the scanner tray. They are produced by the receipt printer themselves. So in the case of the thermal printers, they are produced by the thermal printer and come off the thermal roll paper. Next question is, being that it is a thermal receipt printer, there is no journal tape available, correct? Well, typically that is correct, because what you see is once you go to teller capture, the journal tape is generally speaking replaced by an electronic journal that's stored virtually on your system as part of the teller capture platform, teller capture software from your software company. If you do require a journal tape, you have to stay with the journal tape that you're used to, and you get pushback from your operators. Then the option may be, instead of using a thermal receipt printer from the original manufacturer, to use a printer from a company like AdMaster or Pertec or some of the other ones that are on the certified list, and use the journal tape that comes off of that and replace the thermal printer with one of those printers. The person that asked that specific question will be back in touch with you with additional information should it be required. We do have a number of other questions, but we're not going to answer them right now. Renee will collaborate the questions together, and we'll get the PDF off to you along with the presentation. On behalf of the vendors, the manufacturers, our UniLink team here, Renee's coordination, we thank you very much for attending the webinar today, and we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.